looking at dailies, and I just felt embarrassed, and I think that was like something that I couldn't have acted, and something that became a very important part of the character was the sense of shame, of regret, of becoming something that you couldn't change, and then having to face that and be that openly, and have this child, and have them look at you, and to try and feel like this kid's father somehow, and you just feel like a complete mess.
But like he pointed out, how many people with face tattoos probably actually really do hate them?
Right.
Like a month later.
Yeah. So I think Derek, I really appreciated that he kind of held my feet to the fire on that. I think ultimately it gave me a gift for the character.
Did your mom ever weigh in on like that kind of stuff? Like when you said, "Hey, Mom, I'm making this movie with face tattoos," was she like, "Why would you do that to yourself?" Or does she kind of embrace the fact that you're trying to like get into the part? Like, does she ever weigh in on what you're gonna do?
No.
As a parent, no.
No.
So, we heard that you became very good at motorcycle riding in a very short amount of time. Can you talk about that and how you did it?
Did you go buy a bike?
Yeah.
Well, I had one, but I never had, I just ridden it, to get through LA traffic. But this was a very different kind of riding, and I worked with this man named Rick Miller, who is like the best in the business. And like when Batman gets on a motorcycle, it's Rick in the Batman suit. I hate to break it to you, it's not Batman.
Mm-hmm.
And we just rode around Schenectady for a couple months, and it didn't feel like work.
I read that your fantasy was to rob a bank in a motorcycle, and when you talk about that with Derek, you guys clicked immediately, and that's how kind of like the story came out. How was that?
Well, I had this delusion that I could get away with robbing a bank, and that was my plan of how I would do it. If I wasn't afraid of jail, I would do it. But I guess that means I don't have a lot of confidence in my plan. But I told Derek about it, and he said, "That's crazy. I just wrote a movie about that." So that seemed like, well, okay, like we should make that film. Both of us thought it was our idea, and then we realized that this guy in Tel Aviv has been doing it for years, and with great results.
Can you talk about the baby? Because from what I understand, you're sort of a baby whisperer.
Yeah, everybody that came in here said that.
No, I got along with that guy, Tony Pizza. Tony Pizza.
Yeah.
What a cool name.
What a name. How do you not like a guy named
Yeah.
Tony Pizza? But yeah, we just, I like that guy. He was great. I'm sure it wouldn't be the same as any other baby.
He did stuff on Q.
Yeah, he was the best. He'd never had ice cream too, so that scene in the movie is really him having ice cream for the first time.
Oh, that's cool.
His face is so funny.
I was actually born and raised in Schenectady, so this was
cool.
fascinating for me. But I was just curious, it's not really a town where there's a lot to do. Would you guys I'm sure you guys were exhausted most of the time, but is there anything you guys bonded doing off set, or?
Well, not really. Rick and I rode around probably every bit of Schenectady. But I really liked it. It's reminded me a lot of my hometown, from a place called Cornwall, Ontario, which is, I think, the Canadian equivalent of Schenectady. So I felt at home.
This is your second movie with Derek, and obviously you're a good friend.
Mm.
And do you think, since he always gives so much freedom to the actors, do you think that you could bring more than others into the script, into the movie, in your role?
I think everyone gets the same amount of freedom,
But
But we have done
regarding the confidence.
Yeah, I love the fact that we made a movie before, and I hope we keep making them. I think you spend a lot of time when you're working with someone, getting to know them and being polite and not trying to interfere with anyone's process, and it's very delicate, and it's nice when that's over, and you just get to work. And when someone knows you and you know them, and I think you know, my hope is that the work gets better. You know, I have a history with everybody that I work with. I mean, I've been with my agent since I was 16, my manager since I was 14. It's just important to me to have history with people, and so I'm glad to be able to be at a point in my career where I can start to develop that with like a filmmaker.
Blue Valentine is my favorite movie ever, and so I was just curious, like, to play such a romantically raw movie and then go and do this one more about father and son. Do you prefer to do more like the female male love, or did you like the father son relationship?
I don't know. I guess I don't know how to. I guess I don't know how to pick one. I love the way Derek works, and I like the way he feels about family in general, and I feel like the romantic love one was, you know, easier in a way because we all can relate to some experience like that to some degree. This was much different for me because obviously I've never had this experience of finding out I had a child.
Well, you should, because you're good with babies.
I'm good with Tony Pizza.
Did you have any motorcycle accidents? Like, was there any hospital trips or anything? No, you're just that good.
No, I just didn't. I didn't do any of the really cool stuff.
You shied away.
Rick Miller did the really badass stuff.
Sorry, you ruined it for me.
So obviously, you know, you're like a huge superstar. You've heard of these "Hey Girl" memes that are going around the internet with you, right? Have you heard about these?
Yeah, I heard
and how there's like a book made of them. Has anybody ever bought you the book so you can see these things that live over Facebook?
I get the book all the time.
You do? And what do you think about the whole thing? Do you think it's ridiculous, or do you have fun with it?
I feel like. Do you remember when Fabio was on that roller coaster and he got hit in the face?
It was in Virginia. I was
With a
there.
pigeon?
Yeah.
He's been feeling a lot like that pigeon. Like,
Really? He has been?
Just like a wrong place, wrong time.
Because you're
kind
like,
of thing.
yeah. But they are funny, and I mean, I think that it's interesting that you make people's, you know, that average person in Minnesota who's having a bad day, they feel like you're going to make them coffee in the morning.
No, they don't.
They do. I think so. I think they see it. They put on the Notebook, then Blue Valentine, and then they're like, I'm going to spend my day with Ryan.
Oh, that's nice.
Did this film get the bank robbery urge out of your system?
I did, yeah. It did. I had a, you know, well, I'll tell you something that really soured the deal was when I finally am doing it, and I'm on the counter, and I turn around and everyone's smiling and filming me with their cell phones. And I realized that this is not like I thought it would be. And then Derek got mad at me because he said, look, they're having a good time. You know, you're not being scary enough. So he made me do 22 takes trying to scare them.
When you do the final bank robbery scene and you forget your glasses, like, when you did the scenes with the glasses, did it kind of help to make it, like, more legit for you, more real feeling? And then did you all really feel more vulnerable without them, even doing the